Sukuyanade Bal Olaram, or hello everyone and welcome. A Wolves Den Games is proud to present Monday Magic Mania with your host, Geroya'lor Kyr. Maybe playing some Magic Duels. Still trying to beat Tezzeret here so we can move on to the next plane for Magic. Unfortunately, last time it kind of annoyed the crap out of me, so hopefully it won't be as bad this time. That's the hope, at least. I do hope everyone's Monday has been going okay. Tonight we may follow up with some, like, Call of Duty or something for Insomnia Squad. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Or maybe some Borderlands or something. Whoops. That's what was wrong. One moment, folks. I forgot to plug in my actual headphones. So it was coming in through the speaker and not my headphones. It's never a good idea. Okay, so we start with all of this. See, I've got two lands. This gives me white and red. That'll be very useful to keep. I'll risk it. I mean, I've got two lands at least, which is a plus. That'll start tapped, but first turn, that really doesn't matter. He's got twice the life I do. I gotta make sure he doesn't get Bolus out. Borderlands would be nice. Well, we'll definitely see what we can do here. I'm not casting that Pyroclasm. I need it to kill something later on. I need one more white land, though. I'm not sure if I should do, like, Borderlands 1 or Borderlands the pre-sequel, which I have the least experience with. Kind of depends on what folks would rather see. I can't play that yet because I don't have... I'm not going to waste that Pyroclasm. Wait, what's this? Ooh! Never mind. That wouldn't be wasting that spell. That would be placing it on that one. Vigilance. That's right. Now I've got at least a little bit of defense here. Okay. Yeah, I got into Magic in 2005 due to... Let's see, what can you do? Does this have Vigilance? Vigilance, yes. Okay. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and attack with that one now has vigilance, which means it doesn't tap when you attack with it, allowing you to use it as a blocker next turn. So you're going to block it and lose that. Nope, he did not. Let's activate that to get a plane out here. So next turn, I'll be able to drop the Avenger, which will increase in power and toughness as things go. Whirler Rogue. Now we're starting to get into some trouble areas. It's a sorcery. Dagnabbit. I'm gonna block that one. I really don't have much of a use for Gideon Jura, because he can only become a human on my turn, but he can't attack. It's kind of pointless. And people have a tendency to... 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 5 lands out, so drop that one first. Next turn, we'll drop the Pyroclasm and clear their entire board. Because of that. Oh, it's because of the Thopter's network. Forgot about that. I can still play it? Oh, absolutely. Yep. Now that they have no creatures out there, we will swing for an attack. Okay, so far this has been moving a lot smoother. So let's be thankful for that. And he can just search anytime he wants. That's not good. Thought that was only if there was... If you control an artifact. Is this an artifact? It is an artifact. That's why. Okay. Okay. I'm okay with that. I need to max out the damage, though. I need to be able to drop that card. Oh, perfect. Oh, there was a white land I needed. Or one of the white lands I needed. Oh, I can attack with him. Even better. I hadn't realized that. This is Magic the Gathering Duels. It's one of their older digital versions. I've never played Pokemon, but I know that one of my co-hosts, Chris, is a fan of the video games, at least. Have you played the cards? Were you a fan of those?
Not really. I collected them.
I was kind of like that with Magic.
I used to collect over 1,000.
Oh, that's already... welcome, Bobsta. I apologize. I was a little more focused on trying to get this match ended, because last time I played, I went up against him twice, and all it did was like completely fall apart on me. I sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, then discard a card. Return one from graveyard to hand and draw a card. Okay. So we don't want him being able to... We don't want him being able to get Bolus out. Yeah. Choose a card to discard. No, I know there's at least one more Chandra's Fury in here. This one I need for my creatures. To be able to deal additional damage and that kind of thing. I've been playing this since about 2005. I ended up trading like a bunch of Star Wars cards and Harry Potter cards and stuff in order to get my first. Can hold on to that one for a bit. There's that. I'll attempt that. That's okay, I didn't really need that. Can't be blocked by artifacts, so both of these will now deal... That'll deal 6, and this will deal 14, so that's 20 damage in one turn. I might actually beat this guy this time. That's the first strike. That gets double strike. There's the first one. Then the regular strike for both, I believe. Oh, it didn't get the second. Oh, because the thing that blocked it died. That's why. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That worked out nicely. Only this time I'll prevent him from being able to use that against me. I sack a creature or a planeswalker and discard a card. Oh, I hate them. I hate you, Tezzeret. I really do. That was terrible. He has 2 of those Dark Intimation cards. And now I can't take that thing out, so it'll block this. That does not help me right now at all. Okay, Chandra. I'm good with that just the way it is. What do we have here? Land, sorcery, creature. And that says if I sack it. So I'm going to do this immediately. Wait. What did that say? Oh, I had night. That was stupid. That was my fault. That was all my fault. I didn't have an artifact or an enchantment. I thought it said creature or enchantment. He's going to block it with the flyer. Because it's the only choice he has. Throwing that on my thing would have been pointless. It would have wasted the spell. We don't want to do that. Was kind of hoping we'd have more numbers over here on Twitch, because we're kind of in need of those. It's, for some reason, we only have one currently. Nothing much I can really do. Not a whole lot, Chris. Thank you for peeking in. Hello, Ariana. Yeah, we had a hiatus for about a month, a little over a month. We had some stuff and personal stuff to deal with. No. And there goes my artifact. Oh, wait. No. Haha. You can't destroy something that's indestructible. Ha! They used to have it on mobile, I think.
I'll check.
I'm hoping I have this in hand, Phantom Omaha. I'm having some issues here. He keeps pulling stuff that catch me entirely off guard. But this, that will help. Hello, Miss Adika. Welcome. I believe they used to have this on mobile. I don't know if they still do.
They do on iPhone.
They do on iPhone?
Yeah. See.
Okay, so it is available on the iPhone at the very least. Mana tapping key. Which key is that? Alt? No. Okay, that'll work. And yes, I know it means throwing a land in there, but should have done that as a defensive measure instead. I can't get rid of that Thopter, and it's going to block every attack with the Heart of Kirin. So I'm kind of stalled at this point, until I can start casting some more spells. Because, yeah, he's going to just keep on doing that. But I now have the Chandra emblem. So whenever I cast a spell, it'll deal damage to him. Target creature or player? Oh, that's even better. Okay, I might be able to get this. It's online. It should be... I know it's available on the iPhone. I don't know if they ended up actually putting it out for Android or not. The control setup is mostly just touch if it's on the phone. So it kind of depends on what ends up coming up. I have only played on the computer, and I only started getting access to it once I moved here to Nebraska and had a computer that would work with it, I guess. Um, it is a free game, which helps. So is Arena. I'm not as much of a fan of Arena. There's too much focus on the competitive side of things. Here comes a steel wall. Now we can start chump blocking stuff. So yeah, now we're at the point where the game just stalls for a while. First spell I've been able to cast in a while. I don't have an enchantment, don't have an artifact, so I won't sacrifice it that time. Okay, I'm done with the... There we go. Gonna hold off on the attack for now. Well, this has vigilance, so I can just swing with it. Huh. I hope it's available on there. It can be a fun game. Lately I've just been kind of disenchanted with the high competitive nature of some of them. Dagger, dagger, dagger. There's nothing I can really do right now. I need more spells. I'm at the point where I have to... Probably gonna have to end up... Oh no. Yeah, Hearthstone as well. Third time in a row I've had it to the point where I have Deseret on the run, and yet for some reason here... Okay, I'll give you even more then. As long as they have those Thopters, I'm having trouble getting through. I hope not, 'cause I'm doing my best here, and I'm starting to wonder. Of course, I'm using that planar bridge to pull out that Colossus is kind of pain in the butt. What does that do? Oh, it gets bigger until end of turn? Okay. Keep forgetting I have to click continue as well. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, go. Because when you sit down at a table and play Magic, that's how it works. You reach the end of your turn, you're just like, okay, go. And now he's got Tezzeret out. What was that? And now I've lost. I have no way to win now. I have no way of being able to swing past them, and they're not going to give me spells now. Wait a second. Do I not have... Oh, because it's an attack. Haha. I might actually do this. It's gonna be absolute luck. Because he has blue, so technically could counter. I don't think he has the full... Finally! I think it took me a grand total of like 4, maybe 5 different runs at this guy to actually beat him. More cards. I haven't actually opened up like any of these, so we could do that if folks would be interested. Just to kind of see what cards we've pulled and that kind of thing. Or, again, it's luck of the draw, man. That's how I was able to do it. And for some reason, at least the thing here is saying we only have one person in chat over here on Twitch, and yet I see at least 3. Not counting myself, of course. Or the mods, because... I mean... 2 of the mods are here. So, for some reason, Twitch is just saying, no, 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 no. So I get the starter box. And I got a couple of decks, apparently. So we could go in here and start looking at stuff, or we could go back to story mode and play through. What would you folks like to see out of those? We can go here and jump to the next one, which would be Shadows over Innistrad, or we can go back, go through the card collection, take a look at what has been earned so far, and what we might be able to build from that. I'm pretty much open to anything, especially now that Tezzeret got his butt kicked. That was way too close, though. I will see if I can help you out with that whole Twilight Delve thing, Bobsta. That was a campaign we were running for D&D that ended up kind of falling apart. So I might... that might be one that just isn't running currently. I'll check with the players and see what I can do there. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, at least for now, Yeah. I mean, I could go with that. I was kind of... We do have a full block open now. So, because there's packs I have not opened. So, we'll open some packs and see what comes up. Wow. And of course, everything is considered new because I just have the one. I threw that together to get a certain thing figured out. I already have 3 of these. Vehicles you control have flying. I mean, I could do a serious deck using vehicles and artifacts. I used to have a decent one. Reckless Racer. Okay. So I'm going to try and take a look at all of these here. Siege Modification we've seen. That's the one that I used to enchant the Heart of Kieran in that last match. Let's just do this. No. Show owned cards. Owned cards. Start with starter box stuff. There we go. So yeah, these will now be in color order, which will help. If there's a particular card you see, feel free to mention a name, and we can bring it up so you can see it a little bit closer. There are a lot of different abilities that tend to show up. This is what you would call a vanilla card, with just has some flavor text, your power and toughness, casting cost, and that kind of thing on here. Others have slightly better abilities, like this one here. Lets you look for an enchantment for your creatures, make them better. This enchantment is one I particularly like. How do I... There we go. Mostly because of the whole give it +1/+2 and flying. And for some of the creatures, that can be kind of funny. There's a card, a new card they have out now that is a wolf pup. But with the wolf pup, for those who may have seen when we were playing Arena, I do have a deck that utilizes mostly wolves. It is kind of in our theme. But there's this little wolf pup. It's a little 0/1, but when it comes into play, it comes into play with a 2/2 wolf creature token. So it's kind of like you get the pup and his mom. And you never want to piss off a mother wolf. Yeah, we've got all kinds of areas. A cat knight. That's interesting. A cat knight that has flying and double strike. The double strike makes sense to me. The flying, not so much. It's a cat. Suppression bonds. This is one of my favorite designs for a card because it's most commonly referred to as pacifism, the effect at least. And I used to have a deck that had 19 different versions of that under various names, because when you build a deck in Magic, you can only have 4 of any one card that isn't a basic land. It kind of helps adjust for building concepts and that kind of thing. Flying is always helpful if you can get around your opponent's stuff. Then you start having counter spells and another version of pacifism, but in blue. So yeah, having 19 pacifisms in a deck really annoys an opponent. Gotta be fair. Many of these are cards that I know just because I played through the Kaladesh block. Gravedigger has been around forever. Necromantic Thirst is a interesting one. The art that goes with these can also be really deep if you notice. Others, Rise from the Grave is kind of old school. Goblins are popular. It all depends on Magic. Technically, by time, I believe, like chronologically, I believe Magic was the first of the CCGs. The funniest bit about it is it was designed with the intention of giving people something to do between sessions or characters in while playing D&D. Like if your character was killed and you rolled up another one, and so you're just waiting for when that character is going to be introduced, and you want to kill some time until that point, or until everybody shows up for the next session, that kind of thing. It was just intended to be a short little game to kill time between D&D stuff. And now it's become something different all on its own. Granted, WotC, who puts this out along with D&D, is owned by Hasbro. So it's kind of their board of directors' choices as to how things work in that respect. There are some really twisted cards here, and then there are others that are less so. I prefer many of these older. We'll just go with all the cards we've got and see what that brings up. I mean, some of these you'll see are the same ones that had popped up due to the what was it? Due to going through here with the starter boxes that had been earned. This one, however, was not from that. That one can get a little brutal. Especially in an enchantment deck that uses a lot of pacifism versions. So this, plus throwing out pacifisms on a bunch of different creatures and other enchantments that boost other creatures' abilities, can do some serious issues. We are currently on the computer. We do have a PS4 that's been loaned to us, but I don't believe that's available on there. I could be wrong. Up to you. I mean, I know you're kind of busy at the moment. But things like, oh, that already has flying. So Nimbus Wings wouldn't necessarily help, but you'd still get the +1/+2, plus the bonus that it would give itself, making it a +3, +4, and a 5/6 with flying out of just 2 cards is rather impressive, actually. And it all depends on your personal aesthetic and it's Magic Duels. It might have been Magic Origins at one point. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and throw it into chat here too, just in case. Whoops, misspelled that. And it might be under the tag of MTG, if that helps. Because we do have that as well. Here on the computer, I just have it through Steam. Again, it should be a free game. Hey, I've got a Liliana. I've got a flip Liliana. Ooh. Huh. It's been a while since I've had a chance to get a hold of any of those, at least in paper form. We literally have boxes behind me in the closet that are decades worth of Magic cards. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've got lots of really interesting cards, and it can be a little overwhelming for someone who's new to the game, just because of the sheer amount of options. Uh, maybe Magic Duels Origins. Maybe just look for Origins. Magic Origins. It might be under that. I don't recall offhand. Uh, but what I'll do at this point, instead of just going in and actually building a deck currently, I'd like to kind of show some of the other sets we have, especially thanks to Innistrad. This is very gothic in nature for those who are D&D fans and know of the Curse of Strahd adventure. Uh, the whole vampires and werewolves and that whole concept there uh, is heavily in the Innistrad set. So I figured we'll take a look at this. If not, we could always swap over to Arena at some point. Arena should be available everywhere. I believe it's available on the phone. That's Magic Arena, and we do have that. I just don't play it as often, only because of how highly competitive that game can be. Yeah, I'm drawing a new hand. I'm not taking all lands and a... No. Ooh. That's a flip card. And that thing gets mean. Yeah, I'll keep that. I'll keep that. That was nice. Uh, Strangely enough, I'm not much of a blue player. My version of blue is more cantrips than counterspells. I used to have a very... Yep, we'll go ahead and play the skill quest, because now we can feature what these flip cards are capable of. The double-faced cards, certainly some of my favorites. This was something new to Innistrad only. I need to find a way. With a thing in the ice. So somehow I need a way. Whoops. I messed that up. I'm going to have to redo this. I forgot that it didn't just give me time to work here. Yeah. I know I've got to redo it. If that'll work for you, See, I need to be able to disperse by... So I need to block one.
Hello.
There we go. Hopefully, I'll end up drawing another spell. I'll cast that. That drops the thing off of that. And this thing turns into the Awakened Horror. I used to have a deck that played on this and removed the counters off of that thing in no time. There we go. And return. Yep. Throw that down. There we go. There we go. And there's a win for that skill test thing. So cool. So that's how the double-faced cards work. When you do a certain thing, then it flips and becomes something usually far, far worse. One in hand, one on top, one on bottom. Okay. Put that one in my hand. That on top of the library. That takes care of that. Huh. It's weird that that's the case. I mean, unless... I know it's Magic Duels in the US. I don't know if they might have a different name for it elsewhere. Magic the Gathering, usually anything that comes up with that should show anything related to MTG that might come up, and it might be under a different name. I'm not sure. Uninvited Geist. There's my free defense. Can throw that in front of anything. That'll go next, so that maybe we can hit them, flip it into the 3/3 that can't be blocked. So yeah, that looks like... Oh. Oh no. We got werewolves. No werewolves. I'm playing against a werewolf deck. I should have known that from, you know, the werewolf sitting there. That's got the better chance of actually being able to flip fast. We'll figure something out. I mean, if they have arena at all, we could eventually end up playing that one for a little bit in order to be able to play some games against our viewers if they would really like. Let me... one of our viewers I haven't seen in a few days, and a little worried. They usually peek in at least once. Oh no. That was bad. This isn't going as well as I would have liked. It happens though. Especially when you have to mulligan. Then you pretty much know you've lost, but you give it a shot. And we know they've already cast a card. And now I can't attack with that at all. Because it'll just get killed. So now we're strictly defensive. So apparently we're just now gonna sit here and wait them out. There we go. It's really not gonna do a whole lot, but okay. Well, I can at least whittle down the lower powered stuff. It's a horrible, horrible card, but this will trigger first. Ooh. I want that in my hand. I want that on top of the library. There we go. That's a little better. Huh. I know that this had been out a while ago. They ended up reaching a point where they weren't really supporting it anymore. It's possible that it's designed to work with Windows 10 in particular. Not really sure off the top of my head. Let's draw a card. just make it a 1/1. Sure, why not? The others I'm holding back for defense reasons. At least I'm dealing damage now. Okay, now we gotta find out how they're gonna respond. 5 damage. Bet it's the one I just attacked with. No, really? You find that more of a threat? I don't see why that is more of a threat. There you go. That takes some of that pressure off. And this is why flying is always good, because you just fly over their land stuff. They're hoping I do not cast an instant or sorcery, because then it becomes a 5/4 with flying, and they've got no flyers. Of course, they could come up with some spiders, which can block flying, or archers, which can block flying, but it looks like they're focused entirely on werewolves here. And now that flips? Wait. How do I keep missing that? I don't know. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, that was a little more helpful. Another clue. I made some clue tokens of my own design, but I used like pictures from the movie Clue. It's really weird having a clue token like that, but it's got Tim Curry's face on it. There we go. Yeah, we'll play that. And do this. And I'll hold these back for defense and let this guy finish off the opponent there. The other thing with Magic as opposed to like Hearthstone is it doesn't stop once you get the killing point. It goes all the way through until it's dealt all its damage. So unless he boosts that, which he could have, there are spells that would have allowed it. And no damage done for those fog banks. And now clearly I have this one in the bag, because he can only take 4 damage, and this deals 5. Allowing me to bypass everything. So that wasn't bad. I mean, sometimes you get runs like that, and sometimes you get runs like Tezzeret, where it takes 3-4 turns. So, I mean, we've got... I don't like Jace at all. The reason I don't like Jace is because he's everywhere in Magic. Ever since he came out, he's the one planeswalker that shows up all the time. And when they were asked, is there ever going to be a time when Jace is not the prominent figure? And the response was, Jace does play a pretty important part of the current storyline. Not answering the question at all. But I have to wait till turn 4. I'll give it a shot. Hopefully this will work. It's not a great hand to start with, but I don't even know what's in this deck, so... This is just whatever it was they gave me. And running with it that way. Well, I get a bear at least. Till he gets targeted by something, then he just dies. It's kind of funny that way. I will need a short break after this match, just to give everyone a heads up ahead of time. Well, they ended up swapping from continuing with duels in order to bring out Magic Arena, because much of the company's focus is what is referred to as standard legal. And that's the competitive tournament approach to Magic, which does kind of change things. So since they have to cycle certain cards out at the end, they have to rotate out certain ones in order to keep standard at a certain level. Them shifting things over to Arena rather than this kind of fit their way of doing things. I mean, if I had access to the older cards in Arena, I'd have no problem whatsoever playing it. The new cards are just the old cards in new skins for the most part. And a lot of their innovations are not innovative at all. Yeah, I'll just take it. Because I forgot what I was supposed to do. That's what I should have used. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. I was too busy talking and not paying attention to... I said stop timer. So I draw a card. I discard this one. And instead... There we go. Yeah, madness costs are great. But yeah, with the newer cards, a lot of it is innovation that doesn't really innovate, unfortunately. Or doing designs because uh, because they want to see if they can without paying any attention as to whether or not they should. And it's just really confused a lot of things in terms of this game. These older cards are a bit more straightforward. They don't sit there and I mean, like there was a card today that I found out had gotten banned from use in Standard Magic because of the fact that other cards allow you to play more than one land a turn. Not because of something that card did, but because other cards allow you to get a single token. It's a weak card. I have no idea why it was banned. There was no reason for it to be banned because it's a stupid card. So it gets rather confusing at times. And it's like you're making decisions for the people who are actually not making you any money. From a business sense, that's just bad business. You don't base all your work on the minority of your demographic. You base your stuff on the majority, right? The casual players, the ones who don't go to tournaments. Granted, the secondary market for Magic cards, all the money goes to the people selling the individual cards, and Hasbro doesn't get any of it. And the biggest market for Magic cards is the secondary market. So, I don't know, hurting their own business in order to design bad product just seems like bad business to me. Also, at some point after our stream, there's another stream that will be going live called The Mana Pool over on twitch.tv/TheManaPool, and they discuss tournament play for Magic and that kind of thing. And they're really cool people if you want to stop in and say hello and maybe learn a little bit about Magic from players and judges. Sure, why not? And we'll draw another card. Attack with all, because why not? Yeah, as the sets were rotating, it would cause them to sit there and be like, well, this set isn't supported anymore for tournament play. Never mind the fact that the casual players tend to play all of these cards that we're now taking away from them. It just seems kind of pointless to me. It's one of the reasons why the card game we're working on is a cooperative game where you work with the other people at the table instead of trying to kick everybody's butt in the room. Now he's going to use the madness, of course, because that's how that works. Yeah, I had a brutal Vampire Madness deck that did mean things. And there goes that one. Yeah. I'm a little more distracted this game. My apologies on that. That untaps those two. Choose a card to discard. Hehe. I might actually win this one. Our card game is actually going to be an actual paper card game where you would sit down with your friends at a table. We focus on tabletop specifically. Our main project right now is a campaign setting guide that can be used with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons rules. Or you could probably make it work in other systems as well. Yeah. MTG has gotten very esports, but ever since they started the Magic Pro Tour tournament, like 20, 30 years ago, it's been kind of gradually getting more and more competitive. Most specifically, toxic competition, which I do not like at all. It's bad for mental health. It's bad for people in general. It's just bad news all around. And that one. We are the card game itself. We're having some issues with how some of the mechanics need to work. In order to make it work well, it is based on one of our simple system RPGs that we had put out called the Rescue Pack. So the design of the game will be to you as the player will play as a wolf, and some pups from the wolf pack have decided to wander off, and it is the player's job to work together to get to deal with certain obstacles in order to find and rescue the missing pups. That way we're also kind of keeping it well within our brand. Yeah, I mean, Magic has kind of gotten to the point where you pay to win. And the value of the cards that you're getting in return tends to be much, much lower. Yeah, I mean, it tends to happen. Magic Arena ended up taking the place of this one, and it kind of just builds from there. Yeah, I don't think I've got this game. It was close, but not close enough. Because I can only block one of their creatures, and it's got to be the bigger one. But I'll take a short break after this, and we'll come back for a little more. I do want to thank everyone for joining us. And I do hope you'll bear with us for a little longer. Feel free to grab something to drink or something to eat. Um, yeah, for me, I'm more about we want people to be able to get our games and have some fun, preferably for as cheap as possible. Unfortunately, time goes into it, which we also have our own bills to pay and that kind of thing. Uh, there's art that needs to be covered. There's all kinds of things that go into each one of these projects, and we currently have 4 games in the works. So we're working on art for all of those. We're working on mechanic designs. We're working on rule systems and ways to make them fun and interesting for folks, but also hopefully be a little bit educational, be be the kind of thing that brings people together rather than drive them apart through toxic competition and bad sportsmanship and that kind of thing. We want folks coming together and having fun, uh, which is why our first 2 games are out there free currently. I mean, if folks happen to toss a little something our direction when they pick it up, great. If not, I hope they at least have fun. Our main focus is getting our name out currently while we get the games designed and worked on and built. That way, when they are finished and they do come out, we're able to provide them for as low a cost as we personally can afford, considering the amount of time, effort, and work put into putting it all together. But yeah, there are a lot of companies that end up falling apart or getting bought out or whatever because of people being more focused on that money. Money is important because we need it to pay the bills in order to stay alive as human beings, right? Yet the world seems to be working against that concept by making it harder to make the money you need to pay your bills by upping the bills. And that makes no sense to me at all. Uh, I mean, here in the US, there are plenty of families who are unable to just pay their basic bills without both parents working multiple jobs. And there are plenty of other households that are single parent households. And that parent has to work at least 2, maybe even 3 jobs just to be able to put money on the table or put food on the table and keep the lights on and keep the kids warm and fed. But that means they're unable to be home to help take care of their kids because they have to be out working all the time. And then we wonder why kids have become the way they are because the government made it that way. And that's how that kind of works. A politician's job is to do whatever it takes to keep their job. They don't care about anybody but themselves because that's the only way it works. You notice any politician who actually is idealistic and actually is working for the people, their names, if they ever come up, disappear very quickly. Yeah, I personally have been disabled from birth, but the United States of America says, nah, you're not disabled. Uh, since then, and many, 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 many surgeries, and a bunch of other things that have me now well in debt, uh, a car accident gave me brain damage, which then took away my option of doing a desk job. And my ankles are bad enough that most of the time I have trouble just standing up, let alone walking anywhere. Means I'm considered unreliable as an employee, therefore I am disabled. But I'm not disabled according to the government, but they're also the same people who sat there and told someone who had told an amputee, you're not disabled, your leg will grow back. That's the government. But that's all governments because to them, life is a number. and it's a commodity to be used. My view is life is life. Human beings are all human beings. Whatever label you may want to put on yourself to associate with whoever, that is no excuse to attack a fellow human being because they are a human being. My gender matters only to me and my significant other. Unless some person is my significant other, my gender, my sexuality, my religion, my politics, none of that matters. I have an opinion. My opinion is subjective. All opinions are subjective. But people nowadays are making subjective opinions into objective fact, and that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Life comes first. Billionaires should pay their fair share. I mean, honestly speaking, if everybody paid 1% of their income, everybody, no tax breaks, 1%, the billionaires paying their 1% would cover a lot of those taxes issues. But, Of course, people look at me and they assume white, male, privileged. If you consider being born with my feet backwards, privileged. If you consider losing my father at the age of 8, privileged. If you consider being bullied, just like everybody else out there, no matter what your skin color or whatever. Yeah, being told I'm not good enough, being told I'm a failure. Happens all the time. The problem is not these additional excuses we've made to hate other people. It's we've forgotten that other people are also human beings. Until we start treating each other that way, things are not going to get better. Anybody remember back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, when we were still talking to all of these people worldwide about the environment issues? Because, ozone layer. We all remember that. The movie Medicine Man, or Fern Gully, or, every sitcom where they tried to fix these issues by explaining to people, hey, skin color is just skin color. You're a human being, so you deserve to be treated like a human being. We've had plenty of TV shows, plenty of movies, plenty of things. We have all these movies about heroes that we look up to, and then we treat each other like crap. Why? Because we as a race are stupid. Individuals who take the time to think things over and actually pay attention are intelligent. But as a race, as a whole, we are children who have yet to get out of kindergarten. We're still acting exactly the same. But when we're kids and we first go to school and we look at all the other kids in school with us, our view is, hey, these are all kids like me. We don't pay attention that they look different. We don't pay attention to the fact that their gender is different or anything like that. Our thought is, hey, they're a kid, I'm a kid. We're the same. And then the adults and the parents and the authority figures come in and they tell us, no, you're not the same. You need to hate that person for some arbitrary, invisible, and entirely made-up reason. And then we buy into that. Why? Have we not learned over the thousands or maybe millions of years that there has been life on this planet? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason for it. We need to be supportive. We need to understand each other. We need to communicate. And we need to say, hey, I don't agree with you, but you are valid because you are a living, breathing human being. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree. Doesn't mean that we're going to be friends. It does mean that I will respect the fact that you have that opinion. And I'm going to walk away because there's no reason to get into a fight about it. Can't we just do that? I mean, people... Okay, Critical Role did an incredible one-shot. It was really funny. It was amazingly done. It was sponsored by Wendy's, and people lost their minds. I don't know why. I don't care why. The point of the fact is, whether it's Wendy's who had an issue, or fans who had an issue, or whatever, if you want to be mad at Wendy's, be mad at their board of directors. Those are the ones who are making those decisions. Don't hurt the employees for the acts of the idiots with money. Right? The employees are just trying to work, trying to pay their bills, trying to make a living, trying to make a better home for their families. And they're being punished for the actions of their bosses. I have no ties to any political party whatsoever. In the last election, I voted Homer Simpson. Yes, I did. I wrote it in because you can do that. Americans have forgotten you don't have to vote for who they give you. You can vote for whoever the hell you want, no matter what, as long as they're 35. Whether they get the support to actually get those kind of movement ahead doesn't really mean anything. In the long run, the Electoral College makes the decision, not the people. That was proven back when the headline Dewey defeats Truman came out because everybody in the country voted for Dewey. Truman won. Why? The Electoral College said so. Same still applies today, and we don't pay any attention to it. Our vote does not matter. Vote for whoever the hell you want. Anyone. Maybe it'll actually send a message to the criminals in Washington that we're done with their crap. They keep taking our rights and calling it for the good of the people. There are three rights given by the Constitution. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Period. The Bill of Rights is a bill. Anybody remember Schoolhouse Rock? Bill only becomes a law when it's ratified. If it's been ratified, it can't be called a bill anymore. So if it's just the Bill of Rights, they're screwing us over with things that aren't even laws. The only crime mentioned in the Constitution is treason. Penalty for treason is death. Why are there still traitors running around? Known, like factual, we know that they committed treason actively. And not only are they still alive, but they aren't even jailed. They're running around. Life doesn't matter to these people. We need to tell them life is what matters, because without life, they don't get paid. They have no jobs. They have no world to live on if they continue to destroy it with their selfishness, their greed, and their money. As long as there are homeless people of every color, privilege is not a thing. Privilege is to those with the money. Period. Those who have the money, they have the privilege. Those who don't, regardless of gender, skin color, sexuality, religion, political views, they're not privileged. They're stuck in the same crap as everybody else. Gotta be humans, people. We need to remind folks we are human beings. We want to be treated like human beings. Anyway, sorry for the rant. I need a short break, and I'll be back in a little bit. Really didn't mean to go into all that, but it's been bugging me lately. Especially anti-social media, which is designed to tear each other apart and keep us busy yelling at each other and not the people whose fault it actually is. Yeah, if all the politicians are in the bunkers after a nuclear strike, who are they going to govern when they come out? They'll be the only survivors. It's never about saving the majority. It's always about saving those with the money to be saved. I mean, if you really think about it, this whole environmental thing is kind of a moot point because the Earth will still be here long after we as a race are gone. Human beings, mammals, birds, everything could get wiped off the planet. The planet will still be here. The planet is fine. The planet will regrow. What we need to remember is we live on this planet. If something happens to this planet, we all go. The planet will be fine. The planet will recover and just bounce back. The life on the planet, that's what we got to worry about. And we're not. Because our politicians won't let us. Most of the politicians, at least here in the United States, I don't know how it is worldwide, but here in the U.S., the politicians are civil servants, which means we hired them, which means we can fire them, and none of them are doing their jobs. Why have we not fired them? If you were a manager of a company and you saw your employees doing the kind of crap that our politicians have been pulling, they would have been fired within a week. Why do they still have jobs? All they do is screw us over and blame the other side. So it's a one-party system. They just throw different names on different groups so they have somebody who they can blame for when the public gets mad at what they've done. Doesn't sound very smart to me. Let's just be human beings and take care of each other, people. Right? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to drop back to the main menu real quick, and I'll take a quick break. I will be back very shortly, about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, we know that there are asteroids. We're reasonably sure one may or may not have had something to do with the death of the dinosaurs, but you want to laugh about them? Okay. When it hits and wipes us all out, then I guess the asteroids get the last laugh? Anyway, I'll be back, folks. See you soon. They've walked you through Horizon Zero Dawn, through The Last of Us, through For Honor. This summer, one man, one horde, one motorcycle, many, many locations with an open world map, and one very large arsenal. When the dust settles at the end of the day, who will remain standing? Will it be Deacon St. John? Or those he stands against? Find out for yourself at twitch.tv/wildwolfgaming1. Stay wild, everyone. In the video game streaming system, the viewers are represented by two distinct groups: the gamers who provide walkthroughs and compete for wins, and the entertainers who provide nonsense and fun. These are the games of the Insomnia Squad. Doink Doink by Mike Post. Come to twitch.tv/awolvesdengames and click the follow button. That way you will be notified for further games by the Insomnia Squad. There we go. Okay, my mic wasn't working there for a second. So, we're back for the moment. I can play at least one more game here. It was a long night. I don't know what's up with my sleep lately. It's been really messed up. Maybe part of it is the fact of all that negativity and toxicity, like, strewn all over anti-social media. I'm tired of it. We're all human beings. We all have our struggles. Really? That's a terrible hand. That's not much better. But if I sit there and mulligan, then I'm just going to end up... Oh, claustrophobia. Press for answers. That dragon will be... The dragon I have to worry about, because the second a spell targets, the second it's targeted by anything, it'll just die. I don't really need to worry about that. Oh, but I can use the... That gets me one of those, which I can use later. Those madness cards can get brutal. There we go. So I should be able to get the dragon out next turn. And then drop a land when I play that one. Okay. It's going to go on that one. Of course it's going to go on that one. At least I remember to get the mic turned off in time. Yeah, I certainly was not intending to... I gotta throw that one down for that one. Was not intending to go off on a rant there, folks, and I apologize, but... It's been bugging me. Just seeing so many people being horrible to each other for no good reason. Yes, are there, pardon my language, are there assholes out there? Absolutely. That just tells you, hey, this is how we want to be treated, like trash. I mean, if they insist, I'm more than happy to oblige. But that's on them. And there goes my dragon. So, another lost game here. That's... There we go. Second that gets targeted, it dies. Now I'm taking another 5 damage. Because if I block with the bear, then it's just dead. There was no point in putting it out in the first place. This is why these annoy me. Because so much of it is just pure luck of the draw. That would have been helpful, like 10 turns ago. only take 2 damage next turn. Because that has summoning sickness. And we lost the game. But when you're not allowed creatures, then yeah, that happens. There we go. Yup. Stayed alive for one more turn. It's not going to do me any good at all. Huh. Now I think they're just screwing with me. Maybe I have a chance. That aberrant researcher's going away, though. Maybe not. I figured he'd attack. Of course it's going to be something I can't use. That's not going to do me any good. At least not till next turn. I gotta stay defensive. 'Cause, yeah. Can't do anything about that one. No, I'm not killing my Sturmgeist right off the bat. Again, stuck with the defensive here. No, if I play that card, that dies. That's not gonna happen. Trying to tell me to kill my creature. The illusory one disappears. Nope, he's just gonna take me out. I called it though, didn't I? Last time. I think this may be the last game. I mean, we've been on for almost 2 hours. I apologize for how short this second half here is, but there are things that need doing, and we will be following up tonight with an Insomnia squad. So that allows us time to get dinner dealt with and get some of our tabletop work done and a few other things before coming back tonight for a little something. Probably going to be Borderlands or something along those lines. Mostly because we could do Black Ops 4, but that's only available over here on Twitch because we don't have a capture card yet, so we can't really run the PS4 through our usual overlay to be able to get it broadcast everywhere. So because of that, when we do stream from the PS4, we're limited. We are strictly limited to just the Twitch channel. But folks are always welcome to join us over here. There's usually at least one of us in chat, as long as we're awake and in the office. Sure, we'll start with an even worse hand. And of course, Magic the Gathering also insists on there being way too many lands in your deck at all times. So you're constantly getting flooded with land and end up with crap opening hands. You know, like this one. When I build a deck, I usually go 20, 20, and 20. 20 lands, 20 creatures, 20 spells. And then, if there are any creatures or spells that add additional land or allow me to play additional lands on a turn, then I drop an additional land. Well, I'll drop one land out of the deck for every mana fixer that I have in the deck. So I usually end up with like 15, 16 lands total, while MTG insists on like 24. Which is why I always have way more lands than I need, and I always draw lands at the worst possible moment, because they flood my deck with them. just got to keep up the momentum. Well, he can't use that ability, so that's good. Yeah. Why do I have that land? I have no use for it. Where are all my creatures and stuff? At least I traded 1 for 1. Looks like that Phantasmal Bear is my go-to for this one. Now, I can't cast anything that'll target my own either. He's going to add more worthless lands. Yeah, I should have waited on that one. Whoops. I should have attacked. I screwed that up. Oh well. Hey, they actually gave me a creature for a change. Guess I'm stuck on defensive for a bit. That's when I should have saved the bounce. That's what I should have saved the bounce spell for. And he's not going to come me because of the more lands I don't need. As usual. There we go. That claustrophobia will get me past that flyer of his. The whole reason why he hasn't come at me is because that fog bank prevents any damage, period. Fog Bank. I might beat him this turn. Finally. $10, $12, $14. Yep. Oh, crap. Of course it would be that one. Still 9 damage. It's not too bad. I think we might actually win this one, which would be cool. And we're now just over the 2-hour mark. I have no idea why we keep getting lagged frames. I apologize for those. Not really sure what's causing it. More lands I don't need. Oh yeah, no cards in hand, so couldn't have stopped me. Well, we were able to beat that one, thankfully. So that takes care of that. Is this okay? I was worried that was going to jump me right into the next one. Thank you all for joining us. I do apologize again for that bit of a rant of mine, but well, sometimes you just gotta get a few things off your chest, you know? And with all the toxicity, it seems like it's just increasing everybody's anxiety and depression and all of that, and that's never good. Human life should always be more important. Health, mental health, survival, that kind of thing. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us later tonight for some Insomnia Squad. Tomorrow, Travis Willingham's Yeehaw Game Ranch will be back on the Critical Role channel. If you prefer to hang out with us over on our channel where we will host it, that's you're definitely welcome to do that. They are more likely going to be a bit more interesting, but we'll see how things go. That, and it was kind of their Yeehaw Game Ranch that inspired us to start doing the streaming a bit more than we had been. So thank you for joining us so far, and we hope you'll join us for the next one. Let's see. Any other major announcements coming up? Tomorrow, Miss Adika will be returning to the usual Tavern Hall Tuesdays. It'll be run from, I believe, 4 to 6. So that we're off air in time for Yeehaw Game Ranch to start. So if you guys want to come over and join us on our Twitch channel, and then as soon as we're off, we'll go straight into Yeehaw Game Ranch, and you can join us for that too if you'd like. Entirely up to you. So until later tonight or tomorrow, depending on how things are going for you, we hope to see you then. So thank you for joining us so far, and I will go grab Carl for our outro announcement, and we hope to see you guys soon. So until then, this is Geroya'lor Kyr saying bye for now. They've walked you through Horizon Zero Dawn. Thank you all for joining us. Please give us a follow on twitch.tv/awolvesdengames. Long days and pleasant nights. Jate ka nade, or good night everyone.